Hey, hello everybody. Lovely to see you all, and thank you very much for finding the time to join us. There's all sorts of different time zones going on. I have my two guests, the resident expert Anna Naden, who will be taking us through some really good stuff, real technical stuff. And Chirag Bansali, I hope I've said that right, Chirag. Chirag is a quantum computing student with amazing potential in this world. I'm mentoring him at the moment, but it's all great. So what I might do, we've got all sorts of things. Yeah, other people are coming in. Fantastic. Look, let me first of all bring Anna on screen. Anna, how are you over there? It's nice and early in Chicago.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Look, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. There's genuine interest in this, and I can't wait to sort of get going and explain what's happening in the States with respect to learning quantum computing by playing quantum games. So it's wonderful. So, Anne, I'll put you backstage for the minute. And I'll bring in Chirag. Let me get rid of my name and put up Chirag. Chirag, how are you?
I'm good, Eamonn.
Excellent.
Nice to be on this panel.
Yes, it's great to have you on the panel. And Chirag and I have been talking about quantum contextuality, which is to do with one of the games. It's absolutely amazing. For you guys out there who know a bit about quantum computing, quantum contextuality is as important as quantum entanglement. It really is. So, Chirag, tell us how your studies are going.
Yeah, it's going well, and I just finished with my exams, and right now I'm trying to learn as much as I can about quantum computing.
Excellent. Well, you've definitely come to the right place. I will put you backstage as well, if I may. So wonderful. So look, what I want to start with is just by giving you a couple of links, because what's happening in the States is that the this whole learning quantum computing by playing quantum games is really taking off, thanks to Google AI and Caltech, who we will mention later. And there's a great website. Let me get that for you. Oh, maybe I've got it in one of my... Oh, I can't see that one. It's Quantime, so just write that down. QUANTIME. And it really is a fantastic website. It was specifically done for World Quantum Day, which was in April. And, you can see the link on screen. Sorry, there it is. The Q12 education, which is an American level high school, and Quantime. I urge you all to go there, and then you'll see a number of wonderful resources. They've laid everything out really well. You've got all the presentations and everything. So it's really great. Let's have a look at, I just wanted to introduce you to what we're covering from the first week in August. That's the important date to remember. Yeah, so 5 wonderful games which you can see going along the bottom of your screen at the moment. And they really are, incredible games. We'll quickly talk about the quantum coin flip, which is the first one we're going to do. And that covers really, if you have basic knowledge of quantum computing, you will understand what's going on there. What I'd like to spend most time on is a game that's called Zeros and Ones, but it is really a game that's been around since the 40s, called the Perez-Merman Magic Square. And it shows this contextuality, which is, it's just absolutely weird. But let's start off. Let's just have a little look at the websites that's available to you. That's Quantime and a Qiskit analysis of the coin flip. Okay, I just wanted to show you the National Q12 Education Partnership that's been set up in the States, as we can see here. And there's lots of information here that they used for World Quantum Day. Many, many games and things that, of course, we've spoken about. And here's the Zero and Ones game that we're talking about today. And, basically, it gives you all of the information you need, the game sheets, the slides. So we can go to the presentation slides and everything. So they've really done it well, and they've really set it up to capture the interest of students. I might also now look at the quantum coin game and see what we've got there. Now, this is at the Qiskit page. You've got the link, and I'll give you the link later, and you can always email me for any of these links. But look, we've got everything about this game. IBM have done a lot. They've sort of said, what is the quantum coin game? And they talk about how you play it and all of those things. What's the main idea of the game? Where did the concept come from? And then we can go back to the table of contents. Now, we can play it with Qiskit. So Qiskit is the IBM quantum programming software. And this allows us to quickly, we can download this. We can look at the actual coding. So it's got all the coding here. I'm just having a problem scrolling down at the moment, but look, not to worry. It talks about phase kickback. It talks about everything you need. So it really, I think that's the one. Yeah, so look, we've got all of the circuits, all of the Hadamard gates, the qubits explained, and Anna will go over all of these for us in more details later. I guess I'm just saying there's so many resources here on this particular game. On others, we've had to, well, specifically the Zeros and Ones, it's very, very involved, and I'll let Anna handle all of that. Okay, so that shows you how many. I wanted to get over the point of how many resources are. I might bring Anna in now. Oh, that's wrong one. Hey, Anna, how are you? Nice to see you. We're running at 100 miles an hour, so we need to slow down a bit, which is great. I was wondering if you take us through the quantum coin flip. What exactly it is, how it's played, and why a quantum strategy can win, nigh on every time?
Well, I'll talk about the quantum mechanics of it, but I'd like you to give the rules, please.
Oh, right. I can give the rules. Yeah, definitely. It's very, very easy. It's just imagine that I'm playing against you and I'm a quantum computer and you're a normal person, whoever you are out there in the audience. And it's amazing. What happens is we have a coin, a first-sided coin. Now, I have first go at putting the coin on the table and I choose the state of the coin and I don't let you see and I don't see either. So nobody knows the state of the coin. Then a move is where you can either choose to flip it or leave it as it is. So I've made the first move and I've got the coin down there and basically neither of us know the state of it. And then it's your go. Now you can either flip it or leave it as it is. That's entirely up to you. So you make your mind up and then I can't see you doing anything. And then you basically just, sorry, I've got chats coming in here. You basically make a decision to flip it or not, and I don't know what you've done. Then it comes back to me, and then I can make a choice of whether to flip it or not. So you can see the way how convoluted it's been. But you win the game is the quantum computer wins the game if it's a head, and you win the game if it's a tails.
Thank you.
Yeah. Over to you, Anna.
So basically the quantum computer wins by being a little bit ambiguous and not committing to one side of the coin or the other. So as the computer, I play a coin, a quantum coin. It doesn't, you can't, you have to have a lot of electronics to make one of these quantum coins in the real world. But what it is it's a superposition. In quantum mechanics, a particle or a system or a qubit can be in two places at the same time or two conditions at the same time. And so as the computer, I put this coin down in a superposition of heads and tails. It's simultaneously heads and tails. And then you flip it. If you flip it, then it's tails and heads, which is the same as heads and tails. And then I flip it again, and it comes up heads. And that's how I win every time.
Okay, thanks, Anna. Thanks for that explanation. It really is fascinating. In fact, I'll bring in Chirag here as well. Now, Chirag, you haven't met Anna as yet, so please introduce yourselves to each other.
Hi, Anna. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Chirag.
Yeah, so this is all about superposition. So the coin, like when we were playing before, it's impossible to know whether it's a heads or a tails. But there's a new sort of a new reality, Anna. It's not too far-fetched to say that, is it? Because superposition is a reality different to the reality we're used to.
Yeah, you almost never see it in the real world. There's been some work where they've done with tiny, almost microscopic drums that they can put into superposition. But on a scale of things you can hold in your hand, there's no superposition, but for microscopic quantum objects, you can do it.
Yes, Chirag, I hope I'm not putting you on the spot, but could you describe superposition for us?
So Superposition basically is like in the classical world, a bit can exist in only one state at a time, 0 or 1. But in the quantum world, it can exist in a combination of multiple states. It can be in both 0 and 1 in a specific probability, and only when it is measured, we know about its different state.
Yeah, so it's so counterintuitive. I want to get over to the people who are new to quantum physics and quantum computing. There was during the first week in August, during the actual workshops, we'll take you through superposition. So don't worry if you don't grasp it yet. But it was a very famous experiment called the double slit, which basically showed that a particle is in a weird wave duality where it's both a wave and a particle at the same time. And it freaked everybody out, including Einstein, so it really was amazing. But that will give you an indication of a very quick game that in the classical world appears completely random, whether it's heads or tails, and you should win 50% of the time. In a quantum world, in a quantum reality, which incidentally is the real world, the real fabric of the universe is made up of quantum particles. The world we see around us is an emergent universe that we're adapting to. But it's amazing that these quantum particles are so weird. In fact, talking about that, I might let's move on to what we're going to focus on a little more, Anna, which is the third game, the zeros and ones. Perhaps you could give us an overview of that game, Anna?
Sure.
I'll explain the rules later because it's a little bit more involved than the coin, but you talk about what it's about.
Well, the quantum states in the zeros and ones game are a little more involved. There are like 9. In a classical computer, a quantum bit is 0 or 1. A bit is 0 or 1. In a quantum computer, you can have, I'm going to turn off this background. It's not working well. Well, in the zeros and ones, you have 9 quantum bits. And there are rules about whether you can play. It's like a noughts and crosses or tic-tac-toe board where you have 9 squares in a 3x3 grid, and you can put down a 0 and 1. And there are rules regarding how many zeros you can put down and how many ones you can put down, and you have to have a certain combination to win. And there are 2 players, and they don't know what each other is doing, and yet they have to cooperate in order to win. It's a cooperative game. You don't have one player win and one player lose. Either they both win or they both lose. And the way they achieve this cooperation is they have 2 quantum computers that they set up before the game starts. And they're entangled with one another, which means there's a correlation between their quantum bits. And when the game is underway, each player asks their computer, should I play a 0 or a 1? And the computer tells them. And through the magic of entanglement, they win every time.
Yeah, well said, Anna. That's great. This is a little bit more involved. About a month ago, I held a similar night as we're having now, where we actually played live. In fact, one of the ladies in the audience from Zimbabwe played live, Lorraine. So hi, nice to see you, Lorraine. And so I'll explain that. But to people who are quite involved with quantum computing, you still probably don't understand quantum contextuality. So I'm going to ask Chirag if you can come on. Chirag, can you tell us what quantum contextuality is? Because that's the reason why a quantum strategy can win this game every time.
Yeah, so quantum contextuality is it's a feature of quantum mechanics where measurements of any observable cannot be simply thought of as revealing pre-existing values. Rather, it depends on the context of measurement. So, if I give a simple analogy to explain it, so it means that if you're trying to, let's take the example of a car, and if you're trying to determine if it's a BMW or an Audi, it depends on the context, like what parameters we are trying to figure that out. So if we are looking at the color and the age of the car, maybe we will find that we will get that it is a BMW. But if we look at the speed or the range of the car, maybe it will come out as the Audi. So it's the context of the measurement, not just uh, it's there's no pre-existing value of it. Depending on the context, we the measurement changes.
Wow. I mean, that is just an unbelievable concept. And that is why we can actually win this game in the quantum world. Now, thank you for that, Chirag. I might put you backstage for a second. Thank you for that great explanation. Now, look, I'm going to quickly tell you the game. It, you know, it does, I don't want to dwell on it too much because the actual game's not important. The important thing is that you can't win this game over time. In fact, the chances of you winning this game 20 times in a row is like 1 in 100,000. It's just impossible. But with a quantum strategy, you can win it every time forever. And it's because of quantum contextuality. Now, this is just a game, but already quantum application developers like Chirag will be in a few years, they're already writing these mysterious programs that can do what no classical computer can do, what no supercomputer can do. And we're going to explain all of this in the first week of August. Now, it is an amazing point we're at. We actually are, mankind is going to go through, society is going to go through the biggest change ever. If we thought that going onto the World Wide Web was a big move, this is going to kill everybody. Jeff Bezos said at the beginning of this year, he said that the future is quantum computing. I am not exaggerating when I say it will literally change everything. And that's what he said. So that's every government in the world is spending millions and millions. It's amazing. But let me show you the game, show you how you can't win it, and then Anna's actually written a Python simulation of us winning it, but we won't show that tonight. We have to keep that till the showcase, till the workshops. But let me quickly go through the game. Now, the objective of the game, there are basically, and you can play this now at home. You need 2 people and a referee. The 2 people can collaborate and they can work together to get their strategy. And that is that a thing called an intersecting square, and I'll tell you what that is in a second, has to be either a 0 or a 1. So like Anna said, it's played on a 3 by 3 grid. like a tic-tac-toe, Norton cross as we call it. But it's a little bit different. There are rules. So one of you is going to be the blue team. The other one's going to be the red team. The blue, you can, both of you can only use a 0 or 1. Now, the blue team can only fill out a row, and they can't fill out part of a row. They have to fill out a whole row. And their number of ones have to be even. And with the red team, they can only fill out a full column. Again, can't do partial columns. They can do a full column, and there has to be an odd number of ones. Now, that's all you've got to know. They're the rules. But there's a little bit more to it. There's a referee. So what happens is the blue team, you get your numbers ready. The red team gets their numbers ready. And then what happens is the blue team gives their 3 numbers to the referee, and the referee randomly picks a number between 1 or 3 and then populates a column. If it's a 1, they make those numbers go into the top row. If it's a 2, they put those numbers in the bottom row, in the middle row, and if it's a 3, they put them in the bottom row. And the same thing with the reds. So the referee gets the numbers from the reds, and if it's a 1, again, he does a random throw, and if it's a 1, we put the numbers in the left-hand column. If it's a 2, in the middle, and if it's a 3, in the right-hand column. Now, this normally takes about half an hour to explain, so I've dashed through it. But even so, you can see how, let's say in the case where a referee's thrown the 2 for blue, so the blue row goes into the middle, and a 1 for red, so the red column goes on the left-hand side. Now, when you think about it, there is always, in a 3x3 matrix, there's always an intersecting square. Now, the blue and red team win if they have the same number. It could be a 0 or a 1, doesn't matter, as long as they both have a 0 or 1. And that's what they did here. They managed, here's the intersecting row, and they both have a 1 in it. And they both follow the rules, so they would have won. Now I'm going to tell you why you can never win regularly. And that's because with the square, there's always one square where if you place a 0, it will invalidate the row. And if you put a 1, it will invalidate the column. i.e., these, you cannot win every time. In point of fact, I hope you can all follow that, because it's a little bit of a to and fro, and it takes a couple of times to learn it. But, you know, basically you can't win it every time. You can only win it, if you play it once, you win it 8 out of 9 times. But after 4 games, your chances of winning are 62%. And then, you know, on and on it goes, obviously. And I've got a graph here showing you, look, you've got less than 1 in 1,000 after just 24 goes. So we played it a month ago, and everybody, you know, half of the people won, half of the people lost, and we could see how we were gradually losing it. But a quantum strategy using the same game, but in a quantum world, which is the real world, we can win it every time till the end of time. Now, think about that. And think about, again, this is just a game, but we can do amazing things, with quantum algorithms. People ask me all the time, and I know they ask Anna, they're always saying, how much faster is a quantum computer? And I say rather, casually, a million, even more for certain operations like optimization or simulation. A quantum computer will be millions and millions of times. But then I say, more importantly, it can do the impossible. Just as we've seen with these games. And these games have been done for years. They're real. Okay, I'll just make sure there's nothing else I wanted to say, and there isn't. I think I've made that clear. Okay, I might bring you guys back. And did either of you want to comment on that?
Well, I'd like to point out that this zeros and ones game, you can play it on a large scale. I could be playing with you. As long as we had quantum computers, we could play the game and win every time. So it's not like I have to play a superposition of 0 and 1. That's not the case. I play a 0 or a 1. So it's a real world scenario, and I just want to emphasize that.
Yes, it's real. Well said. And the quantum world is real. Chirag, maybe tell us the contextuality angle between the columns and the rows, because it's impossible that they can both be right. They can both follow the rules.
Yeah, it's certainly impossible from the classical way of looking at it. But if we try to apply quantum contextuality to it, so there is a quantum strategy possible which we can use to solve it, and that's certainly something that I'm learning and trying to understand how it works.
Yes, I know you are, because I've given you an assignment on it. I've given Chirag, I can't remember if I mentioned this, but I'm a mentor for Chirag, and I've given him an assignment on coming up with a practical use of quantum contextuality. But it's interesting, Anna, isn't it, that, in the quantum world, it's not how you measure it, but the context of the different things you measure a quantum particle with changes the fundamental properties of that quantum particle.
Absolutely. I mean, the number of zeros, for example, if you go across the rows, you get an even number. If you go across the columns, you get an odd number. So depending on if you're looking at rows or columns, you get 0 or 1. Well, that's the essence of contextuality. The result you get depends on what you're looking at, what your viewpoint is.
Exactly. So it means, could you give us an example of, if you're actually looking at a subatomic particle, if you're looking at an electron, if you were measuring it by its spin, it will be different if you measure it by its orbital momentum or its energy. It will actually give a different result.
Yes, you can measure the orbital angular momentum, the spin of the particle, or the energy. And depending on what you're measuring of one quantity, it'll affect the result you get of the other quantity. And that's contextuality. And it's like entanglement. It's a research topic. Nobody understands it very well. We can understand it in a specific situation, but overall, what it means, To me, it's still a philosophical question, a research question, a scientific question.
Oh, most definitely. I think Chirag's emailing me papers left, right, and centre from university papers from archive on contextuality, which is wonderful. I mean, when we do the workshops, we will go over. There are many theorems: the Perez-Merman, the Cochin-Specker theorem. And by the way, they worked with Bell, which is, the Irish physicist who, did Bell's inequalities. And they all worked in together at the same time. And it's all aimed at proving Einstein wrong, because Einstein was saying a subatomic particle has well-defined properties. We just don't know them. Whereas Niels Bohr and Heisenberg and all of the others were basically saying no. And Anna, of course, you're going to take us through on the third night in August. You're taking us through the CHSH game.
Right. And that's based on Bell's inequality. And what John Bell did was, prior to Bell's work, they thought that entanglement was a philosophical issue, that it couldn't be tested by experiment. Bell showed that you could do experiments to test whether Einstein and his collaborators were right or wrong. And after that, they did do experiments, and it turned out that entanglement is real. And the CHSH game is the simplest application of entanglement, and it shows that you can use entanglement as a resource. That is, in quantum entanglement, you can use it to win the game more often than you would without entanglement. So that's why they say it's a resource. That's what I'm going to go over. The math is pretty simple, and it just shows how practical entanglement is, how it can be the basis of a technology.
Yes, fantastic. I mean, John Bell was amazing. He sort of said, Chirag, didn't he, that the properties of a subatomic, a quantum particle only come into existence when they are measured, not when they are created, which is essentially what Anna was just saying. Mathematically, we can show that it's at the point of measurement, which is weird. What do you think?
Yeah, like when I first read about Bell's inequality, I found it really confusing. I still find it like I don't understand it completely, but it was a way to prove that the hidden variable theories were all wrong, and there's no such thing as pre-existing values that were hidden in the quantum state that just come about during measurement. It's only after measurement that we get to know these values.
You like that, Anna, don't you?
Yes, that sums it up very nicely.
He does that. Chirag sums things up very, very well. And look, on that point, we may leave it here because we've just got really, we're just touching the beginning of the subject. And I can't wait until. Oh, sorry, Anna, go on.
I think Ron wants to post something, but he doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, Ron's. I would love something from Ron. Unfortunately, I gave you the wrong link. If he was watching on YouTube or Facebook, he could just ask the question. I don't know how we're gonna. I don't know how we're gonna do that.
If you could just state your question in the private chat, I'll read it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Anna. And by the way, anyone in the audience, if you've got a question, you know, if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, just ask the question. Are you posting a question, Ron?
Looks like he's not.
No. Okay. Look, that's fine. Look, the important point is what we're talking about here. And by the way, because when we were talking about quantum games, I get a lot of people talk to me, is this about gaming and this, that, and the other? This is about a world-changing, universe-changing set of concepts. And, you know, this really is just the beginning, and it's exceptionally exciting. Yeah, Ron, we have to talk off stage. And look, thank you very much, Chirag, for your time, and you, Anna. What's that, Chirag? Is it a live link?
That's how you can get into the channel.
Oh, well done, Chirag. It is. Now. Yeah, I'm getting some feedback here. Look, I think we will leave that. If Ron, if you. Yeah. Look, we'll do another session before August the 1st. But I've had a lot of people asking me, how do they register and how do they pay? So I want to quickly say thank you to you guys, and no doubt I'll be talking to you both soon and looking forward to that. And I'll just quickly play a video that it's very easy, and it'll take you through what you need to do to register. Okay, let me show you how easy it is to register and pay for the Science of Quantum Games workshop series. So you just go to Google and type in, you could type in QEUCWA.org.au is probably the best way to do it, to go straight to the website. Here it is here. So we're basically looking for QEUCWA, QEUCWA.org.au. And once you go there, it's going to the main QEUCWA website. You can see the poster for the Science of Quantum Games. And beneath it, a button, click here to register and pay for the workshop. And there you go. And then you can see it goes straight to the form. No need to go anywhere else. And it talks about the 5-part workshop series, telling you that there are 2 options. You can be a full participation, which is the full 5 quantum games. So there's one every night. Monday is the quantum coin flip. Tuesday is the quantum prisoner dilemma. Wednesday is zeros and ones. Thursday is the CHSH game, very famous game most quantum physicists are aware of. And then finally, quantum Sudoku on the Friday. So it's all really exciting. So you can sign up for the full 5 games, or you can sign up for 1 game. And I'm going to show you how you can sign up for all 5 and just pay the cost of a single quantum game. Let me show you how to do that straight away. So here we are on the form. You put in your email address, that's compulsory. And you type in your full name, which is compulsory. And then there's a non-compulsory question here, just asking how much do you know about quantum computing. So I've done physics at school and that sort of thing. Next, we come to the registrations options, which is really good because what the registration options do, they allow you to go and check on Anna's biography, my biography, or a quick overview of the workshops. And just by clicking next, it'll take me to an overview of the workshops, and there's our video there. Once you've watched it, click next again, and you're back at the registration options. So let's just go straight for payment. And here we're going to say, look, we want the full 5 games, and then you submit your order. And by clicking on the link, it then processes your order, it analyzes it, calculates how much it is, etc., etc. And all done, basically. It takes you back here. It shows you your order details, and it shows you the how much you're paying. The $195 is the price for the 5 games. But if we have this, can you see this? Have a promo code. If you click on that and type in QEUCWA, it's not case sensitive, so either way, and apply, and then it'll automatically do the calculation for you, and you just pay $55. You put in your card number and details, click to pay $55, and then that's all there is to it. So thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you at the workshop. Okay, everybody, look, we're doing very well for time. We're exactly on time. I'd like to thank our panelists and the resident expert, Anna, for all of your contribution today. I think we all agree how exciting this technology is. And till next